Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special edition of the Level 99 live stream, where we are feeling fine all the way up here at Level 99. Stop it. Stop it, man. Man. I really am feeling the love. You guys are great. I'm not even going to front. Oh my god. All right, I'm sorry that went and did the whole thing. If I press the button again to try and stop it, would just play another sound effect on top of it. What was I gonna say? Yeah, y'all, listen. I really do appreciate all the love and support that you guys have been showing the channel here on YouTube. It's really cool to see, and I just wanted to put that all up front before I start getting toxic as fuck. As always, this is what you came here to see. You didn't see me. You didn't come here to see me putting things over. Nah, you came here to see me be toxic. I'm judging, and that's a terrible thing. However, it gets the views, and you know, unlike some other people that we know, I'm not Mr. Views. But the numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster for our boy DSP. And once again, he got caught in a lie. They hit him once again. So this guy was telling the internet at large that after the side scrollers incident, which top 10, top 3, possibly the top moment in DSP history for the year 2023, the side scrollers interview featuring Stutter and Craig was a absolute disaster for the guy, but it was incredible content and entertainment for the rest of us. And in the year 2024, right off jump, you see, apparently the streets have been saying that there is a new documentarian in the mix. Oh my goodness. And he has machinations on the old Philly boy. And we're going to look into it because, once again, you're not here to see me. We're here to see the guy. Let's pop this guy up and right off jump. I mean, this is a 40-minute video, by the way. I'm going to speed it up. And big ups to Snort Hogan for the clip. Oh, shit. Oh, who got that clip from Raw Phil. So it's like an ecosystem. Really. This is like renewable energy. This is good. Like, this is better for the planet. Let's go.
We're going to get to the topic at hand, but before we get to the topic at hand, all right, I just want to say thank you to everyone. I appreciate you all. We're going to now get into the topic everyone's been wanting to hear. I believe Ponage says, why don't you do shout outs before we get to the topic? Literally, I have one tip so far. That's it. There's nothing really to shout out.
Yes.
Another one.
Yes.
Another one.
This is his way of saying, hey guys, you're slacking. Like, come on, where's the tips at?
We will get into the topic now. That everyone
he makes this beg an art form. He is like the master, the sage of sneak begging. It is a sight to behold. Like, we're being toxically motivated right here. And I just have to give the boy props. Big ups, man. Big ups.
Oh, all right, and then we'll get to shout outs and Q&A after that. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, here's the deal, because the rumors have already hit the internet. There's already rumblings, there's already information out there, so I'm here to basically clarify everything, to clear the air and to let you know exactly what is going on. All right,
so all that I could see is him literally and it only looks worse now that it's in this double speed.
Last year was a very drama-filled, nonsensical year for me, against my will and against my wishes, correct? I think we can all agree. last year, there was a lot of very negative talk about me on the internet, in some cases from really big YouTubers, right?
Oh, he's talking about me. Thanks. Man. I made the boy.
Acknowledge me.
Now, in some cases, being very transparent here, when I got criticized by Moist Critical, and he was like, dude, I can't believe he's saying the things he's saying on his streams to his viewers about income and stuff like that. It seems very, disrespectful. He doesn't seem like he has any gratitude. You can't say that kind of stuff. That resonated with me. It struck a chord.
It resonated with him so much that he started this conversation with the sneak peek.
Correct? And I agreed with him after watching myself back. This is from like the fall of 2022, okay? After watching myself back, that stuff, I was like, he's right. He's absolutely right. I sometimes get so full of
shit. So full of shit.
Emotion, whether it's fear, because of finances and stuff like that, or it could be many different things. Anger when I'm playing Street Fighters, all these things. Whenever I get full of emotion, I tend to just go off the cuff and say things that I probably should not publicly say, right?
Okay. Accountability side, Phil, is coming out. Let's see where this goes.
And I should be called out for it, rightfully. However,
Okay, so we set the precedent. We set the base level, right? Okay, from his words to God's ears. That's what I heard him say. Okay.
Felt that at that point there were too many people who had only heard the negative and had no idea about the positive about me. Obviously, if I'm here after 15 years and I have a community who watches me every day, likes my content and supports it, I'm doing something right. All right? I wouldn't still be here if I wasn't doing something right. There's people who are here for a good, positive reason. And I felt like it wasn't fair because these big YouTubers who always name drop me never examined that half of it. They only examine the negative because that's what gets thrown in their face by the toxicity of YouTube. That's how YouTube works. Promote the toxic, push the negative.
He's not wrong. Let's give him the due he is owed. I can tell you with facts and logic that the numbers that I do is better because I'm talking about him. It's fine. I understand it. You can't hate the player. You can hate the game. I'm trying to get this partnership, man. I'm trying to get this partnership on the YouTube channel. This dude has 2. He's working on 3. I can't believe it. What am I doing? What am I doing?
And so I said, if you're going to talk...
We're all just like laying ourselves bare on the internet for everyone to see, huh?
...bad about me, why not interview me? Correct? Like, why not just talk to me directly? Because I felt like if someone would just have a conversation with me to see that I'm a real guy, I'm not just some asshole who you see the negative highlights of, but I'm actually just a real person, perhaps you'd think a little differently, all right? So I presented that to the internet, and basically, the only people who contacted me were drama brokers and people who were looking to boost their own presence on YouTube.
He's right. He is right. There is, Keemstar said it best, there is a orbit around DarkSydePhil, an entire economy of Detractorville, whether it be monetarily, super chat, super stickers, tips. This is all a grift. This is all for clicks and views. Like, was Cyrax right? Was Cyrax right? No. We will not be using Cyrax as a barometer as to what is and what is not.
What a fool I am. What a fool I've been.
Let's
it
keep
wasn't
going.
like a Moist Critical who reached out to me and said, yeah, let's do an interview. It was like Review Tech USA, oh, let's do an interview. No, you already every day name drop me because you don't make your own content. You just make drama and you name drop me for drama purposes. You have no content of your own. I'm not going to give you more free content. You're out of your mind, you see? I wanted to have a real conversation with someone and it didn't happen, right? So then fast forward to March. And what happened was completely unrelated to anything in that realm of discussion, okay? Side Scrollers was a new podcast that was relaunching on the internet. It was a podcast that was run by Stuttering Craig, someone who in the past, over a decade ago, I had great dealings with. I would go to a convention as a guest when I was at the height of my YouTube popularity, and it was his convention. He had me there as a guest. Before then, I'd actually hung out with this guy at another convention, MagFest.
Man, swinging off his... Screw Attack was pretty cool back in the day. Side Scrollers is super fucking lame now. And the only reason I got eyes on Side Scrollers was because of him. Here is what drives me kind of crazy. This is what kind of like tears me up. This guy, man, he can just harness all of this. He could just pull it all together. And if he wanted to live the life that he wanted to live, he can do it. He can do it. He has the ability to do it. Like, I got this for Christmas. It was a custom sock maker. It's supposed to be for pets. You take a photo of your pet and you put it on socks. Nah, somebody paid money to gift this to me. And you know I'm gonna wear them. You know I'm gonna wear them. I think that was my most, that popped me huge. I loved it. If he had a store with his face on socks, he could get, oh, that's probably what makes me so upset about this guy. He has it. He can get it. He can reach out and get it. He doesn't even have to work hard to do it. And
I was a fan of their website 15 years ago, screwtack.com and stuff like that. So he had reached out to me and said, hey, I know we haven't talked in years, but we're looking for guests for our show. And I said, I'll be a guest, why not? And I saw their show, and their show was a variety show. Well, their show was a variety show.
And there it is. Here we go with the heel turn. We gave him all of this good. We gave him the benefit of the doubt. And then he immediately went into what he really wanted to talk about, which was shitting on side scrollers. By the way, in the same breath, he'll always tell you, I'm not looking for trouble. I'm not trying. I wish these people would keep my name out their mouth. And then he goes on and starts talking about them.
Where they would talk about games and news. Now it's not anymore. Now they've actually used my interview as a platform to change their show and get popularity, but we'll talk about that later. So basically, I say, I'll be a guest on your show, but then they completely changed the deal. The deal was originally, I'm just going to be a guest. We'll talk about variety topics. It'll be a fun show. Then it becomes, oh, what we want to do is we want to be the exclusive place for you to finally get that interview that you've always wanted. I didn't really always want an interview. I only wanted the interview because people were talking so negatively about me, right?
He said before the interview happened that this was going to be the opportunity for everybody to go to one place and get all the answers that they wanted to get from DarkSydePhil, the definitive encyclopedia of DarkSydePhil as a content creator. And it did not go the way that he thought it would. Well, he thought it did. He thought it did. But then the next day is when side scrollers turned heel on him. There's a pattern. There's a pattern. Everybody eventually turns heel on DarkSydePhil.
So I was promised that this was going to be a fair interview.
Yet he is the constant in why everybody has issues with him.
And then after the interview, basically, I was going to get to be a guest on the show. That I needed to get through this interview first, but once I did, I could be a guest, and it would be just like everyone else who'd been on the show. At that point, for over a month, people had been guests on the show. No one else had to go through an interview, just me. Okay? So I do this interview. Okay.
Why? No, I think he's adding that in. He's like, oh, they did this thing wrong about me. So this may also be a bad thing that they did.
I get paid nothing for this interview, for the record. It's just me giving them over 5 hours of my time. Come to find out, was this a fair interview? No. All they had done was talk to all of my haters and detractors for like weeks. Got all of their negative side of the story. Literally never spoke to a single person about the positive side of things.
You know why? Because there are no people that can speak on the positive side of those things. That's as plainly as I can tell it to you, man.
All they did was research negative shit about me. And so they went into the interview with the mindset that they wanted to get me to confess to all these heinous things that I had done over the years.
Phil, do you still currently play WWE Champions? Yes. And he looked so smugly at the camera. Yeah, that's right. I play fuckers. What are you going to do about it? Give me more money. That's what the fuck you...
Wow, that's a great way to approach an interview, isn't it? They lied and told everyone that the next day after the interview, they were going to have a decompression show where they play games, and then they were going to have a follow-up interview with me later. None of that happened after the interview. Instead, they did a hit piece on me. Basically, for a whole day, they just crapped on me and made all negative references and took in a ton of money, thousands of dollars.
It was funny. He said that they made tens of thousands of dollars when first happened. Probably 3,000 to 4,000, maybe even 5 if I'm being generous. My memory is not what it should be.
They received from my detractors and haters. Not only that day, but they continued to milk this for weeks on end and months. It was months later. Stuttering Craig was trying to get me on the show or get onto my content. He wanted to play Street Fighter 6 with me. This guy
is cringe. Yes, Stuttering Craig, that was cringe. You may be a good person. You may do good content. It's not my cup of tea. But that activity, that behavior was cringe. The stream where you said, I'm going live and I will stay live until DarkSydePhil hits me up on Discord or some shit. What the? Okay. It's obvious you were looking for the grift, and I can't be mad at you because I'm doing the same thing right now. But I'm at least open and honest with it, right? That doesn't make it better, but I'm just calling it like I see it because I'm doing the damn thing. I'm shooting out here. God.
would not stop. Basically, he saw me as a big
Essentially, that was cringe behavior. This may be cringe behavior to you, so.
cash cow, and he wanted to keep writing those quotes.
IMO.
Now, since that show, all right, they have basically gotten some
But I would love to be on your show to discuss that further.
notoriety in the conservative political community, which is hilarious because when they started the show, they always said there was not going to be about politics. Now, the only attention they get is when they talk about politics, and they've turned it into a right-wing political show. That's their show now.
Let's go. Let's go. I don't think Phil would have a problem with that, but I think he recognized real. The right-wing grift is there's grift on the left, there's grift in the center, there's grift everywhere. You can't just say left or right, up or down, whatever. It's everywhere. It's not just contained to one simple area. Yeah. You should know that. If you don't know that, maybe, I don't know, take a look around and see it with that lens, and then maybe return to that conversation in your mind if you want to. I'm not forcing any ideologies on anybody.
All bolstered by when I was on it. And by the way, my interview continues to be the most watched thing they've ever done.
True. He's also true. It's also true. The guy on Side Scrollers got that video to 100,000 views. Nothing to sneeze at. Look, we're being positive. We're being positive. Let's see where this goodwill takes us.
The funny part about it is the interview never actually did anything in the realm of what I wanted. The whole point of the interview that I wanted to do
What he
was that
wanted.
people who don't know about me can watch the interview, learn, and then there's no questions anymore about that stuff. In the end, all that interview ever did was it went around my detractor circles. That's it. It didn't actually hit mainstream. No one really cared about that interview outside of the detractors. So,
because nobody cares about you the way that you want to be seen. The detractors are the thing that keeps the machine going. You use the detractors to motivate your dents to spend money on you, to stick it to the trolls, to monetize the haters, Craig. Cringe behavior on it. I'm spinning around in the toilet with them.
This song made my dog puke everywhere.
it didn't really get to serve the purpose, but I'll say this, at the very least, basically all the bullshit about those negative things, those questions, those accusations, the conspiracies, it all went away. If you don't notice, no one really comes on my stream and talks about it anymore because I've already said my piece and I'm not wasting time anymore with that shit. I'm done with it. I told you.
I'm done with it. I'm fucking done with it. He plays WWE champions. Your money is going to WWE champions when you give him tips when he's crying poor.
Guys, I'm done with those topics. We're done with it, right? So, after that, I made it my philosophy to stay out of drama. And I said, I'm not going to be doing any interviews. I'm not going to be doing any kind of anything with anyone.
There
Even though
it
people did
is.
reach out to me, oh, I want to interview Phil and this or that. Even, what's his name? Mudahar or whatever. He reached out to me. Oh, I'm going to...
Mudahar or whatever. You know what his name is. You just got to be a catty little bitch about it. Like, seriously. Okay. And then, oh. You were going to get some money for these interviews, dude. What? You're not trying to get that bag. You're trying to get that bag. Maybe that's why we're all so mad at him. Man, he is living life on easy mode.
pay you $5,000 for an interview. And I said, I don't want your money.
I don't need your money. I got a litany of people who choose to spend their money on me.
An interview, but we're not talking about this drama. I've already addressed it. All the conspiracies are just that. I'm not wasting my time. If you want to have an intelligent discussion about interesting topics, I'll do it.
That's not what's interesting to people. They don't want that side of you. They want the dark side of Phil.
Like fucking mature adults. All they want is milk drama so they can make money on YouTube. They're all fucking greedy.
He's right. He's right. He is right. He is right. I'm doing this for a hobby. I do this on the side. I do other stuff to make my money. But there's always that element where you're looking at numbers and you're saying, man, these are good numbers. This is what people like to watch. If I was sitting here talking and putting over this guy or the other guy and being generally, there's no conflict in this movie. Does anybody watch Family Guy anymore?
So anyway, I stayed out of it. Completely, 100%. And I didn't address it anymore.
Bullshit, he didn't do that. That's a lie. That's a lie. Hard cut to any clip of him bringing up Review Tech USA, bringing up Side Scrollers, bringing up Keemstar, bringing up LTG. I'm just rattling off names.
Bullshit for the rest of 2023.
The roster grew.
However, There were still people who tried to pull me in, right? These idiots trying to get me to go on a fucking podcast that I was never involved in whatsoever, and they lied about that and tried to make shit up and talking shit about me. People making documentaries about me, right? Which is hilarious. The whole term documentary is hilarious because if all you do is research shit that's already on the internet and you regurgitate it into a 2-hour video and all you do is add a little bit of commentary, that's not a documentary.
So let's apply this dark side philosophy to the guy. So you mean to tell me that DSPN news shouldn't be a regurgitation of what you read on Twitter? Oh no, I'm taking this out of context, obviously. That's not what he meant.
Everyone else did work for you. All you did was regurgitate the toxicity and the conspiracy. You added really nothing besides a little bit of commentary on top. That's not a
That's fair use, and that's what you do every Sunday for DSP Reacts.
documentary. It doesn't even add anything. All it does is kind of summarize all the negative shit people have said. So with all that going on, right? People go, oh, well, you do an interview with the guy who did the documentary and this or that. And ultimately I said, no, I'm not doing any of that, right? I'm staying out. And the funny part is, someone actually asked me a question last year and it resonated with me. They said, you know, Phil,
Are you watching my content, buddy? I say things resonate with me. Oh, I think we're on the same level now, buddy. Maybe I'm on the come up and come down.
all these people on the internet are constantly talking negatively about you. Any of these people, do they ever actually like reach out to you to talk to you, right? Did they ever go to you for information or to get your side of the story or whatever? And I answered very honestly, no, not once. In all this time, 15 years.
I don't know. People on Twitter are saying, hey, I reached out to you on Twitter and you blocked me. But like, obviously, if you go through anyone's timeline, you see what they like and what they retweet and stuff like that. Twittercircles.com, very recently, everybody in the Detractorverse and the Vortex was doing it just randomly at one night. And it was interesting to say the least because I would say like 90% of the circles, the profile pictures that circled me in the middle of the Twitter circle were detractors and detractor adjacent people. So it was like, man, that's where all of my interaction on Twitter is going. I don't really fuck with any other social medias.
I've been on YouTube and all
Outside
the
of
videos and the
Twitch
documentaries
and
and everything
YouTube,
done.
of course.
Not once has anyone ever made a legit effort to get my actual side of anything. Instead, it's always we believe all the toxic shit and just report the toxic shit and that's it. Even
That's because that's what people wanted to see. That's what people want to see. If I woke up every morning, went downstairs, made some coffee, and while waiting for the coffee to be made, I open up YouTube and Duty always usually has a clip of what happened the night before, and I'll just watch that. And it's on in the background while I'm doing other things. I'm not like glued to the TV, but whenever something interesting pops up, yeah, I'll have it on in the background while I'm doing life stuff. It's not like the end all be all of what I do, but it's a lot of fun. This is what I call entertaining. This is entertaining to me.
Side Scrollers interview, which
And also I've met some really cool people in the Detractorverse, so huge shout out to everybody that fucks with me. I appreciate you guys.
Oh my god, look, we did it. We got DarkSydePhil to spill the beans on everything, and now we can be notable because of it, and it didn't work. Because it's not, the shit they were trying to get me to do wasn't true to begin with, so obviously it never was going to work. These people were fucked up, alright? So basically, I stayed out of all of it.
Okay, shut up.
Alright? Always in the back of my head, I'm always wondering, and I've told you guys this too, I don't think anyone's ever going to give me a fair shake on the internet. I just don't believe it. It seems like everyone is out for the drama. Everyone's out for personal gain. What's better? To completely spin something in a way that makes me look horrible for clickbait views that will benefit you, or to actually show me in a fair light. I'm not even saying show me in a positive light. I'm saying show me in a fair light to actually have another side of the story.
So fuck the quartering, right? I mean, shit. Somebody tag that guy. Or comment on one of his many Brie Larson videos.
To see what it's actually like from my perspective, to go through this, to live through all of this slander and nonsense that's happened to me for all these years, to just be a guy trying to get by with my community and having a good time and ignoring all the bullshit, and then having to hear that constantly this stuff is going on outside, right? So,
gross.
Basically, all right, I got contacted by someone who is a neutral party, someone who does not stand to benefit by actually portraying me in an incredibly negative way, because it basically, let me put it this way. If you're someone who wants to actually make real content, if you're not someone who's a drama hound, if you're not someone who is, again, a Keemstar, a review tech, someone who all of your content is based on making someone look bad, correct? If you're someone who actually wants to make legit content, then you actually have to be fair.
DarkSydePhil is not very fair to his audience. If he's in a bad mood or you say the wrong thing, you are banned, gone.
Because the moment that you're not, who else would ever want to work with you again, right?
It's almost like he's projecting.
If you portray someone in an unfair way that makes them look awful, then no one else is ever going to want to work with you either. You understand? It has to be some way where you're actually being fair to the subject matter.
It doesn't sound like he's being fair to the side scrollers, or he's being fair to Keemstar, Review Tech USA, or anybody else that had said something about him.
All right. So, basically, I was contacted by Mike Klum, who recently did a documentary on Boogie. And before
there it is.
Out about this, I know a lot of people saw the Boogie documentary.
Big reveal.
Wow, that documentary was not positive. That documentary was very negative. It shows all the weaknesses of Boogie, all his shortcomings, the fact that he basically pissed his life away, all his money away, that he's a toxic guy who falls into drama, and he has all these issues.
It's almost like there's a genre for this type of person, a type of person where you consistently, you know, it's like the new reality television, seeing the train wreck that are these real life people who can't help themselves, despite the fact they get handed opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. Doesn't that piss you off? That makes me mad. That makes me genuinely upset. And it's not just what I see in this detractorverse, in this little Venn diagram circle of this side of my life. I see it in other places too. So I also wanted to let it be known that I love the fact that I can, in my own way, psychoanalyze and put together my own thoughts about any of this shit that this guy tries to pull off, and then realize that this is not a isolated incident. There are people like this out in the world that think that they can get away with their silver-tongued ways.
You're right, but that's what they
spinning and weaving tales with their tongues.
That's actually what they wanted to portray in that documentary. That was the whole point, to show that side of his life, which I guess they felt had never been really revealed before. That's exactly what they were going for. Okay. I was contacted by Mike, and he says, basically, this is fascinating. There's people out there who want to see a documentary about you, but he didn't know that much about me, okay? So, by the way, and just for the record, this was months ago. This was not yesterday. This was months ago, okay?
So he was going off on his podcasts about how he's done with all that. He's never going to do it again. He once again got up on his soapbox and was like, these documentarians got it all wrong, and the whole time he's been talking behind the scenes. Like, it's just so on brand. I love this about him.
Where we actually began talking behind the scenes about stuff like this. And basically through a series of conversations, okay, that I had with this guy, as I explained my story to him, he was basically like, so this is completely different from Boogie. Yeah, it's not even close.
What?
My life is nothing like his.
What?
I'm not in the situation he's in. You know, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, other people can disagree. I
will disagree, because you are both one in the same, because they want Keemstar wanted all three of you in a podcast together, because most of your stories line up like right up next to each other.
You know what I mean? Like him, he's in horrible health. Financially, he's distraught. He can't make ends meet. He's desperate, which is why he's on things like this lolcow show where he's getting on his hands and knees and being mistreated by Keemstar to make money. He's in a real desperate way, right?
What are you doing? What are you doing right now? I mean, besides like asking for change.
Pretty much not the case, okay? With me, I have a successful business. I enjoy coming to stream with you guys every day. I love what I do for a living. I'm making it happen, right?
Pressing X to doubt on that one. You know, his favorite thing to do when he's really low on funds, and when there's a special event at WWE Champions, he'll say that he is in financial dire straits, and he'll say it's the end of the world, and he'll, you know, kind of dress it up appropriately for the level of what kind of support he's expecting. Going on about how his vacuum cleaner broke again. Oh no, I don't have a couple $100 for a vacuum.
I'm getting out of a horrible financial position in my life, which happened already, and I'm climbing out of it. It's slow progress, but it's definitely progress, right? My story is basically that even though I've made all of these improvements over the years,
he also squandered a shit ton of YouTube money before the adpocalypse. He made money hand over fist. God.
Representative of what people make me out to be anymore. Maybe
right
one
place,
day,
right
10,
time, but
years
man,
ago,
like,
I was
why him,
really bad.
man?
I was obstinate, I was stubborn, I was stupid, I said and did awful things.
You
right?
still
and
are all those things.
And now here we are,
but now
15
you
years later,
bullshit people into thinking that you're not, which is not true.
and I'm still able to run a business, albeit a much smaller scale business than what I used to do. But I'm still popular, I still have a fan base, and people still talk about me, right?
You got like that last part mostly right. A lot of people talk about you.
Problem is constant misrepresentation. And you might say, well, I don't get it because you already have addressed everything. You're right. I have addressed all of the bullshit and nonsense out there. However, I addressed it here, right? and no one listens to me when I say it on my own content.
What? Huh? What? No. No, 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 no. Nobody gets to hear you because nobody cares about that. That's not the point. They watch to see you spin these fantastical tales about whatever the fuck you think you got going on in your life. And it's crazy. It's crazy to watch, and it's crazy to commentate over. And it's crazy to see what other people think about this. And it's crazy to see how all of these different walks of life have become so fixated on this guy. But look at this smug ass face. You could...
No one. This is me talking to my audience who already, it's like what do they call it? You're preaching to the choir. You guys already
Preaching to the choir. That's weird. Like cult speak. By the way, if not for this guy, I wouldn't notice the patterns and the generalizations of cult-like behavior. I'm seeing it like literally in front of me happen in real time.
know the deal, right? The fact is, most people don't. There's no central place you can go on the internet for the story of DarkSydePhil. It's this detractor content, this documentary that's way outdated and has outdated
Talk
information,
about me.
this documentary that just regurgitates the detractor conspiracy theories. There's literally nowhere you can
Then
go.
you'll know that you've made it. King Sly's channel, he has a button on his stream deck where he goes with DarkSydePhil's voice isolated. King Sly.
If I want to learn about
Every
DarkSydePhil,
time
why
I
does someone
hear
talk
it,
about this guy?
I
don't get
geek
it.
out.
And get an actual answer that's fair and makes sense. Okay? And so, after having talked to Mike, all right, the idea that we came up with was to do a documentary that's going to, for the first time ever, and I'm going to say this, likely for the last time ever.
He said this about side scrollers as well. This is just a copy and paste of what he said before the side scrollers interview. This is fascinating because we saw him put his hand on the stove and the stove burned him. Ouch, fire hot. And he's looking, we are all looking at him. Look at that stove again and slowly moving his hand back to that stovetop. This is just National Geographic level
Me
shit.
growing up, what it was like, right? How I got into games, you know? What it was like when I was a kid. Asked my parents, you know, what was like raising Phil and stuff like that.
Oh,
right?
I would love to talk
going
to
through the arcade
Papa
days,
Phil.
going through the Street Fighter days,
Papa
growing up in
Phil
arcades,
sounds
and
like
how
a
it became this
really
kind of,
cool guy.
How do they say, almost fraternity culture, and shit talking was encouraged, right? And how that carried into my competitive Street Fighter career in the 2000s, and how it became an innate part of who I was for a very long time. How eventually, after having a back injury and deciding to quit competitive Street Fighter, how that
A back injury kept him from playing Street Fighter. Here's the craziest thing, man. Seeing all the accessibility options in modern games is so cool to see. And I see videos on YouTube of like very disabled people. And I'm saying this just as the most blunt description of what I can say about it. Playing high-end game, like fighting games or action games with these adaptations. And like, it's truly just the application of whatever you have available to interact with this multimedia. So like, he's once again dressing it up like obviously he is, you know, delusions of grandeur. He's putting over the fact that it took a back injury to take him out the Street Fighter scene.
that turned into a job becoming a YouTuber, right? And how I somehow got this popularity doing content on YouTube that not very many people were doing, right? The improv commentary style, and basically making it popular, right? I was the innovator.
I'll give him credit. He's true. He's true on that because there would be no Level 99 live stream if there wasn't a Level 1 podcast. And literally there'd be no LDZ gaming if there wasn't a DSP gaming. Essentially, the entirety of what I'm doing here, my presence on this side of the internet, is I'm doing everything opposite of what this guy does and see if it's going to yield me any type of success, like some DarkSydePhil success.
Of the video game
That's
playthrough
my
back in the
modus
day. I was.
operandi
But most people won't give you
in
credit for that
this
because they went,
corner
"I
of
was
the
the person who
internet.
made it."
This ain't my
I was the
life.
person who made it
This ain't my
popular on
entire
YouTube.
life.
And then everyone else decided to run with it and change it up and do it differently. But I was the guy who made that improv commentary style popular. All right. Now,
My racism was popular at the time.
after that, you know, the entire story of how I became popular for a 2 or 3 year period. I was one of the top YouTubers. But then how this is how you don't play soured public opinion against me. How
It was a clip show. It was footage of him being a very, 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 very obnoxious. I'm going to say obnoxious because you could say racism was cool back then. I personally think it was never cool. But to his credit, the 90s were wild. The 90s were wild. I can't sit here and say that the 90s were perfect for everybody. There was a very different worldview. It's very different than what it is now. He is a product of his time.
How it turned the crowd against me and how that affected me, how these groups of detractors formed online social communities around hating on me.
And there it is. We did it, boys.
Acknowledge me.
Feels good, man.
And how it changed everything, how they staged attacks against me to ruin the business, and how I went on a big decline as a result of stagnation and bad choices on my part, but just as much their actions as well.
So you're saying it's the 1-2. We're not going to we're gonna gloss over. He said so much about how the detractors fucked up his life, and then he just kind of glazed over the fact that he also fucked up. The man got a bankruptcy because he ran up 16 credit cards.
And basically doing all of that in a way that, number one, covers facts, but also is entertaining. Because ultimately, the last thing you want to do is have a documentary about someone that's boring, okay? That Boogie documentary is sad. I don't want to make a documentary about me that's sad.
I'm not even gonna touch that. I can't. We gotta see it. We gotta see it to believe it. And here's the thing. Now this documentary is on everybody's mind.
What's the point? I don't want people crying.
Everybody's talking about it right now. I'm talking about it right now. So right now, all eyes are on this. We gotta talk about it, man.
Maybe one day I would, but I never really thought about that. And then when I start talking to Mike, he's like, "No, your story is interesting."
It is. It really is.
I want to hear more things about you. You know, about how this journey happened or whatever. This is not a crying situation about how awful things are. My life is not awful, right? But
hard cut to any time this guy says that the world is ending because he's not going to be able to pay his bills.
Stands to reason that to actually have a fair documentary about me that covers everything, my whole history, not just the bullshit conspiracies and negative shit about me. Not to say that stuff won't be in it, but to cover everything
I hope
fairly.
it's in it. I hope it's in it,
That's really
man.
key here, is to make something that you guys want to watch. That's not just for my haters. It's not just for my fans. It's actually for an outsider as well. Someone who's never heard of me, but you say, you know, I hear the name DarkSydePhil every once in a while. I wonder about this guy.
I wonder about this guy. Isn't he the guy that jerked off on camera in front of his... That's your claim to fame, man. But if you leaned into it a little bit, you may have been in a movie or something, man. Like, you could have been at the next Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
What about, you know, can I learn about him? This is the documentary you're going to watch. This hour or 2 hours, however long it ends up being. This is going to be your go-to piece of content to watch. All right? And you're going to watch it and say, okay, there you go. That's what he's about. And then you can judge for yourself. Hey, maybe you want to come by and check out my content based on the documentary. Or maybe you're zero interest and you'll never check me out. And that's okay too, right? But at the very least, this is really, it seems to me, okay, that this is the only chance that I really have to have a neutral party be involved in making something that actually is fair. That Side Scroller's interview was a complete attempt at getting me to look bad and getting me to confess to shit I didn't do.
It was a hit piece. He was happy with it until it became a hit piece. Once they started making more money and once they started getting more popular than him, obviously they turned heel on him.
There's no point to doing it if I didn't know that at the time. I was promised all these things and it was all lies, all bullshit, right? The whole thing was basically a front for them to propel themselves to popularity, which, yeah, that really worked. But still, you get it? Like, something like this
is why. He's such a miserable shit.
Because I know some people are reacting negatively to it, and fair enough. And I understand why. Here's why.
Here's why. Tell us. Lay it on us.
I've never gotten a fair shake before. Never. You're right. Every single person has screwed me over. Whoever tried to do something, right? So that's the point. Now, here's the thing. Does this mean that there's no one going to be involved negatively? Of course not. They're going to be in there. Everyone's going to be in this thing. I mean it.
Is Darish going to be in there? Oh, I sure hope Darish is in there. Hey, yo, Darish, do you watch any of these detractor videos? What's up, my guy? You really need to stop, man. Your internet footprint is just...
Everyone who's is going to be in this damn thing, it's going to be entertaining for that very reason. But here's the thing. I get to respond to all the bullshit, right? When you get one of these talking head idiots on there saying something about me, I get to talk back. It's not just them yelling at their audience and their audience saying, hey, yeah. Instead, I actually finally get to respond to their
How? What? That doesn't make any sense.
Shit, you see? And that's the point, is that this is my format to finally do it. I can respond to them. But if I respond to them here, no one hears it. If I respond to them in the documentary, now that same audience that just heard the toxicity gets to hear my response to it. You see?
Why don't they just copy and paste what he's just going to say what he's been saying in his podcast, man?
It's going to be a project that is going to have a lot of content in it, the kind of which you've not seen from me. Okay? It's not just going to be me sitting here on my chair doing games and talking to you. What's the point? If literally the whole documentary was a bunch of shit about me and me just sitting here saying, well, here's the truth about that, here's the truth about that, that's boring. No one cares about that, right? So that's going to be the difference here. All right. And my goal is that when this thing comes out, okay, when this thing comes out, I want it to be the final go-to source for people to learn about me and my story.
We've
and
heard
that's that,
this
because I don't
before.
want
We've
to hear any more
seen
bullshit
this.
from these people. Not to say
We've
that they're not
seen
going to
this
continue, because they will. They will always continue.
before.
We know this. That these people are so desperate for content. When you have no talent, you have to milk others for content, correct? Because you have nothing to make for yourself, so you have to milk the world around you for content in a toxic way. They're never going to go away. But at the very least, once this story is out, it's done for me, and I can actually move on positively and say, you want answers about anything of my past or anything, go watch the Mike Klum documentary and leave me alone, because I'm moving forward with my audience here, right?
And leave me
Will
alone.
anything positive come out of it?
Why is he so bent on getting this definitive, like,
well, I don't. The thing is, there's so much toxicity and
this
negativity
definitive
about
video
I
about
don't
him?
think it could hurt, right? Really, honestly, you guys are not going anywhere. You guys are here every day. You understand me and who I am and the content I put out.
You
My core
understand
audience
that
is
I'm a
gonna be with me no matter
racist
what. You know
and
the
a
truth. I've
bigot.
already told the stories, right? You're gonna get, even you guys are gonna get some good stuff out of this documentary. Trust me. There's gonna be funny scenes. There's going to be information you never heard before. You know what I'm saying?
If we see
There's gonna be
Cat
interesting
in this
stuff, all right?
video,
And again,
oh
I totally
my
understand,
god!
because there's people in the chat right now who are like, I don't trust it. I think it's, I hear you. I understand, because we have, again, we as a community, and I've said this before, it's not just about me. It's about us, right? Everything that
Cult-like behavior right there. Oh my god, I love it. I love to see it. Let's go.
So when I did that Side Scrollers interview, it wasn't just a shitty situation for me. It was a shitty situation for the community for like 2-3 months, right? And I hear you on that.
Gross.
This is very different.
I wish the thing that he carried from that Side Scrollers interview was how to manage his sniffing and snorting and all of that. He managed to do it within the 5 hours that they were together on that episode. He did it. He did it.
I'm involved with, it's professional, right? I've got, there's agreements in place. You know what I mean? Like, this is on the up and up,
NDAs
going to be something that's going to be fun and fair. I'm not saying this, by the way, by no means whatsoever is this kind of a kiss my ass thing either. I want you to understand that. That's not the point. It's not supposed to be a documentary where Phil just looks good constantly. I'm a flawed human. I've made many mistakes over the years, being a YouTuber way before that.
Man,
as well.
this guy sounds like a
no one hears that. No one hears that Phil admitted
like a
he did something
wife
wrong.
beater, man.
Instead, it's just he's this pig-headed guy who says that he's the best guy ever, right? That's not the case, but no one hears the truth. You
sounds like
understand
he's
what
an
I'm saying?
abusive boyfriend.
So I don't think you need to worry as much as you do, especially because, as I said, I'm in a situation here where it's very different from everything else. It's not, oh, it's just an interview, it's just this or that. This is a situation where it's going to be done in a very professional way, all right? And it's going to actually give my side. It's going to give exclusive information and stuff that you haven't
I'm not
heard.
gonna front, man. This is all great advertisement for the video. I can't wait to see it.
People are really worried about
Can't wait to live react to it. You know I'm gonna live react to that.
Months and months to put together something of this scale and magnitude. This is basically kind of a Netflix level.
You know what? I've just now started thinking about
this. It's going to
this.
take a lot of time. There's going to be filming.
I just now started thinking about this.
So to be transparent with all
Phil
of you,
is giving the detractors a huge
there's going to be
gift.
filming around here. There's going to be filming.
Everybody's going to live react to it, and everybody's going to watch their reaction to it. Oh my goodness.
This is actually a
the
real
DSP economy.
So coming up,
everything's going up, baby.
I will let you know. Okay. Basically, this is going to be a situation where I have to take a little bit of time away from streaming. Some of my streams will be affected. Obviously, they're going to want to film me at home to see what I'm doing to put that into the documentary, right? There's going to be a few days where I'm not going to be able to stream because I'm going to have to go film a bunch of stuff, right, in a studio or other places or whatever. So when I know
the grocery store,
all about
at the
that
pet
stuff,
supply
right,
store,
I'm going to let you guys know what's going on. So you'll
at
know,
the dump.
okay, this week, guys, 2 days, I'm not
if we
going
get
to be here
some
on
dump
stream, and I'm gonna be
footage,
off filming,
bro.
and I'll be back, right? And also, I just want to let you guys know, I can't be spoiling this thing constantly because people are going to constantly be bombarding me with questions. So what's going to be in it? And what's going to be this? And what's going to be that? And what, you know what I mean? You can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't be spoiling the whole dang thing. I know a lot of people want that. I'm not going to spoil the whole, what's the point of it if I tell you everything?
He's going to spoil it
So
somehow,
if,
some
from
way.
time to time, as I'm working on it over the course of 2024, there's some stuff that I want to share with you. Maybe there's a behind the scenes clip or video that I want to share or a picture or something to show you, hey, we're working together and here's, you know what I'm saying? Then we should absolutely do that to share, but it's not going to be spoiling the entirety of the whole thing. There's a ton of things in here you're not going to hear about at all till it comes out. It's going to be 100% under wraps, exciting stuff you're only going to see in this documentary. Again, the whole point is to get everyone who wants to learn about me to watch this thing. I think it's going to be fascinating to see my story and then to see how people have reacted to it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you see, he just said it. He just said it. Look, man, he just gifted the community.
Who crap on Phil,
he just gifted the community this documentary that everybody's going to react to. Thank you, Phil.
What they think I do wrong and how I can actually improve. Because that's the funny part is everyone always wants to constantly crap on you, but no one actually wants to help you. You know what I'm saying? You're doing everything wrong. Okay, so what should I be doing that would be right? Be just like you? Maybe I don't want to be you.
By the way, Dr. Oink contributed $2 through Super Chat. The fuck is wrong with you, man? Come on.
Right? Not everyone wants to be exactly the same. So there's going to be a lot of interesting things out of this, right? There is, absolutely. So basically, there's going to be tons of different stuff in this thing. Tons, all right? And as I said, I'll let you know when I have more information, okay? I don't have all the information right now.
It sounds like you do. You've been talking about it for the past 20 minutes.
Hashed out dates-wise, so I can tell you. I can tell you right now, it won't even be soon. Like, it'll probably, at the earliest, a couple of months before we even start work on this thing when it comes to, like, filming and in-person stuff. So it's not like, oh, well, you just
in the summer, obviously.
No. This is not gonna. This probably won't even be until, you know, maybe some work in March, April, and then probably some more. And from what I'm understanding, time frame wise, this is something that's gonna come out much later in the year. This is not something that's, again, this is a professional level thing. This is not something rushed out in a month and it's just edited clips. That's not the intention, okay? So this is a big endeavor. You know, I told you guys I have a lot of things in process for 2024. DSP Throwback is one of them, and that's the one that's coming the soonest.
The soonest. By the way, guys, please. I'm not begging, but I'm telling you, if we get this channel, youtube.com/bm2kx, to partner before he gets his DSP classics to partner, I will shave my head bald. I'll do it live on stream, in fact.
Documentary about me.
Just putting it out
and that's
there.
coming later, much later in the year. Like I would, you know, maybe summer, maybe fall. I don't know. It depends on a lot of factors. There's a lot of stuff involved, you know, schedule-wise and everything. So we'll have to see. But just so you know, it's coming. And when more stuff is available to talk about, specifics and stuff that we're ready to talk about, I'm sure Mike and I will tell everybody, okay? So you can ask me questions, but chances are I'm not going to answer a lot of these questions until specifics are hashed out and we're ready to talk about it. Because I feel like a lot of the times, people want to just get everything in early. I'm not going to tell you everything early, right? But just to make this perfectly clear, this is not the Boogie documentary at all. This is not the intention of the Boogie documentary. That whole documentary had a different vibe and a different take to it, and that's where basically Boogie and Mike wanted to go with that. And this is completely different. I made it very clear up front. I'm not Boogie. I'm not some sad story where we're going to be talking about how awful my fucking life is and everything. I don't want a sob story documentary. There's no sob story. My life is good. I have a good life every day. I have a great time with my audience. We all have a bunch of fun. You know, all the idiots outside of my streams are the ones who are miserable, have to talk shit all day, not me. I have a great time.
He's talking about me. He's right. Oh, I'm such a miserable son of a bitch. You're right. You're right.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine. But you just
So,
can't get
you know what I'm
into it because
saying?
they
There's
won't
nothing
understand.
in this that's going to be, oh my God. Not to say that we're not going to touch upon serious stuff from my past. You guys know about my history. You know about all the problems and trials and tribulations I've been through, business-wise and personal. You know, I've told you all these stories before. But again, this is going to be the focused place where I talk about it, right?
And you
All at
know
once.
something, DSP? I know you're watching, by the way. So why don't you just watch these documentaries and then live react to them and then shoot everything down that they say? Like, all of it. Why don't you do that? You can completely cut out this other guy, which I'm not telling you to do because I understand that this is going to be a good piece of media that everybody is going to enjoy and have their own interpretations of it. I'm not about that life. What I'm trying to say here is all you need is you have everything within arm's reach. All you got to do is just grab it and do it. Just watch these other documentaries to hype up your documentary. And I guarantee you that everybody would watch it and react to it and get more buzz for it.
If you want to know anything about DarkSydePhil, this is where you go for it. And like I said, my intention is that this is it. Once this is done, there's a lot of time and effort and work going into this thing.
He said this before. He's repeating himself.
You guys, once this is done, that is that. You know what I'm saying? That is that. It's done. It's, you know, I'm not doing another one of these damn things. Unless, like, aliens land and I have a story of how I won when I fought the aliens or something. You know what I mean? Like, something wild. This is my story to be told. And after this, I just want to continue to do what I love for a living and not have to bother with this shit anymore. You know? But I feel like this is my fair chance to have a fun, informative, interesting documentary be made about me, rather than it just be hit piece, hit piece, hit piece, hit piece, or even worse than that. You wanna know what's worse than a hit piece? Because here's the thing. With a hit piece, all right? You can tell when it's a hit piece, right? When you watch someone who really doesn't like someone and they're making negative content, you can tell this is a hit piece, and you're not going to have normal people watch a hit piece. The only people who watch that stuff are people who actually don't like the person already, and they just kind of want to laugh at piling on, right? There's tons of people out there who don't like me. Their entire existence on the internet is anti-Phil. What's worse than a hit piece is someone who presents themselves as if they're a neutral party and doing it fairly, but literally all they do is regurgitate the conspiracy and toxicity that the hit piece people did. But you see, well, this is...
They're not regurgitating my toxicity. That's the problem.
What everyone says about him. Yeah, but all you did was regurgitate the bad. Did you actually say anything good? Did you talk to us?
I'll admit, while watching this guy and talking about him, I put him over a little bit. He speaks some truth. And look, man, we all call him delusional for thinking about things in certain ways. but he has every right and every reason to look at us and think the same way. I'm just saying, I gotta give him the due when it's there.
Single person about good stuff about me?
We're being
or do you
fair.
only just literally
we can't be as deluded and delusional as him. I think it's like
more milking of money. Because the funny part is,
in my worldview, I'm not trying to tell anybody else how to live. That's how I would like to see it. And you got to be the change to see in the world, right?
Their views and money, because my fans don't care. I don't care. I don't even watch it. It's them that they're milking, not me. Yeah, sure, it's about me, but you literally didn't even say anything new. All you did was regurgitate the toxic shit, and you milk them for money and views, not me. It doesn't come from me. You know what I'm saying?
You're not milking my sweet A-cup titties.
So in this case, yes, this documentary will absolutely address some of the conspiracies and toxic things that are said about me. 100%, those will be addressed. But at the same time, there's going to be the more fair human aspect to it, addressing me as a person, my history, what I stand for, what kind of content I put out today versus what everyone claims I put out 15 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Claims, my guy. You have to put a disclaimer about the videos that you are going to upload to your legacy classic channel saying, hey man, I was a different person in a different world when this was recorded. So this is why I said this wild shit.
Going to be very, very
Warner Brothers lazy ass. Copy and paste.
I will have way more information about this as it develops. Right now, it's too early to give you any specifics, nor would I really want to give you specifics, because that would give away too much, you know? And I'm going to have meetings with Mike where we're going to plan and discuss things, and then we're going to have filming sessions and stuff, and I'm going to keep you all in the loop on that, so you know what to expect with all of that, because I want you to know when I'm going to be here, when I'm not going to be here, you know, what's going on, okay? And like I said, there will absolutely be stuff that will likely be shared with you over the course of the year, whether it's I could put out an exclusive clip on the channel as a preview of something that will be in this project to get you guys hyped up for. Because again, it's not just for people who don't like me, it's not just for people who like me, this is for everyone. This is supposed to be a video you can watch and you will learn all kinds of stuff about me if you just heard the name DarkSydePhil. Maybe you only saw one clip of me ever and you want to hear my
and you want to know what clip that is?
story. That's what the point of this documentary is, you see? So there you go. So now the beans have been spilled to the point where at least you have a general understanding of what this is going to be. All right. And again, the funny part about this is when people say stuff like, well, you know, I think that Mike is going to try to screw you. How? Like, why would he do that? Because if he does,
why would the side scrollers do it? I've seen this movie before.
Right? If Mike becomes known as the guy who screws people when he makes a documentary about them, well, who would ever want to work with Mike ever again? Do you think he's doing?
Well, that was what he did with Boogie, man. That wasn't portraying Boogie in a positive light. It was like, oh my god, I feel bad for this guy.
For a one-off video and he's running and never making content ever again. That doesn't make any sense. He wants to make good content that everyone's happy, right? That's the
nope. Art isn't designed to make people happy. Sometimes it's designed to make you feel sad or mad or jealous or willing to spend money or time in whatever is being presented to you. Art is the subjective opinion that everybody has. I dare not ever indulge people that don't actively look for this stuff. People come through and recognize what I find entertaining, but I'll never like, I take what DSP does and says, I do the opposite, and I see what this guy does. I see what this guy does in other people, and I love navigating through those things because it feels like that I'm talking and interacting with this guy, because after a while you start seeing patterns and it's easy to navigate those things because you've seen these things before.
Point.
So we've seen, by the way, too long didn't read tangent. We've seen this before. He did the exact same thing when he was talking about the side scrollers. I love it. I love it.
Anyway, that's that. Now, I have a few quick shout outs to do. We're going to get through those, and I'm sure you guys are going to probably have questions, and I'll field your questions for as much as I possibly can. But again, all right. Basically, what I want to do is answer as much quick, but I want to kind of get this out of the way. When I start playing Baldur's Gate, I want to play Baldur's Gate. When I play
the way he plays Baldur's Gate is with his hand being held by chat every step of the way.
Stars, I want to play Sea of Stars. That's the whole point of us doing this podcast, was to talk about this now, and go from there. Okay? And by the way, Abdullah says, I'll call this out now. Trying to prove anything to people is a waste of time. It's better to move on with your life. You're right. Again, I'm telling you, that's not the point. This is not Phil's debunkery and for an hour. That's not the point of this documentary. It's a real documentary. See, here's the thing. You guys are completely misunderstanding because you have only seen toxic shit about me on the internet. That's the difference.
what I'm gathering here is this is actually going to be a fluff piece, or what he's saying being fair. I mean, his idea of fair is different than everybody else's.
It's a documentary about Phil, and you turn it on, the whole thing's negative stuff about me for 2 hours. Oh, well, you know, all right. So is this documentary going to be Phil just responds to that for 2 hours? No. No. It's real. This is a real documentary, and this is, again, what people don't get, because you haven't seen a real thing about me yet. You literally haven't seen one. I would say the closest one that came to this was the Frederick Knudsen documentary from many, many years ago, but that got
Imagine getting all of these documentaries done about you. That's crazy. The way he hasn't harnessed this attention to benefit himself beyond what he's got going on now is amazing to me. It's a case study.
But that's not what this is going to be. I'll tell you that right now. Okay?
Should I be a piece of shit person on the internet like this in order to get any kind of attention put on me so I can actually further what I want to do in other realms? I feel like I'm kind of doing that. I do other things. I don't just talk shit about Phil all the time. I play Dance Dance Revolution every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday morning. I'm a professional wrestler. I've been one for 19 years. I have shows coming up that I'm going to be a part of. You know, I'm a graphic designer. I've done this for 20 years. Everything that you see and hear is a product of me applying my craft in the realms of the things that I enjoy. I like production values. I like making things look and sound good. I like being able to have different ways to stimulate you as an audience member. I think about how you as a viewer would see this content. I'm getting very positive results from people in the Detractorverse about the type of production values that I put into talking about the guy. But that's just a small part of what I am as a content creator and as a person. I've been doing this and producing and making content and doing the graphic designs and media for my entire life, it would seem. Ever since I was in high school, I've been doing this. And it just makes me feel some sort of way when I know that this guy with no talent at all gets all this attention. And that sounds like sour grapes, and that may be the case. And I have no problem like thinking it that way. But I'm not gonna like shut out everything else. I don't know. Maybe I'm having an existential crisis over the guy right here and all of this attention that he's getting. So huge shout out to Snort Hogan. Oh my goodness. That was a roller coaster. It actually got me in my head for a minute. However, I see it as a type of motivation. And it's a toxic motivation. I'm not even going to lie. But I was thinking about it earlier today because I'll listen to these things while I'm doing other stuff in my life. And then I start thinking about what I'm going to talk about. And then I get on camera and I talk about it. And then I put it online and I make a thumbnail about it. And it's just it doesn't seem like work. It just seems like, you know, I've been doing this for other people for the longest. I've learned a lot of things and now I'm applying it to what I want to do. And that's talk shit about the guy, but also at the same time, kind of make it, you know, something that if someone stops by and sees it and goes, oh shit, look at this, man. This guy is putting in some work, doing some shit. And I'm getting that because I'm interacting and having great conversations with other people that want to see me succeed. So huge shout out to everybody in the Detractorverse. You are all legends, to coin a phrase. And with that being said, look, I'm trying to show some love to my YouTube side of things. This is where all of the videos are being uploaded to. If you haven't done so already, maybe consider like, sharing, and subscribing. I'm trying to get this channel to partner. If we get this channel to partner before DSP gets his DSP Classics channel to partner, I will shave all of my hair right here. I'll do it live on stream. And one of these days, I will get a video that gets 100 likes, and then we'll have ourselves a celebratory bubble blow.
Take the bubbles and shut them up your fucking ass. How about that?
Well, I feel like my time here is over. Thank you for hanging out for as long as you did. And until next time, guys, take care, be safe, and peace.